Let's kick off the show with some audio here. I think this is the approach I'm going to take. I'm going to play the audio first, and then we can go into the article.
Okay.
And discuss that. But I want you to hear the article or the audio first. This happened, I think, like a couple of weeks ago, but just too good not to share here from TMZ. Texas mom furious rant about anal sex during COVID school board meeting. Here we go.
All right, well, I'm just thankful that y'all don't have the ability to make a mask mandate. And tonight I was going to talk about the need for a second high school, but I was sidetracked by, for the boys, pussy or the idea of pussy or the idea of pussy. A Mexican is a Mexican is a Mexican. Take her out back, we boys figured, then hand on the titties. Put it in her coin box, put it in her cornhole, grab a hold of that braid, rub that calico. You can find that on page 39 of the book called Out of Darkness, which you can find at Hudson Bend Middle School and Bee Cave Middle School. All right, not gonna lie, I had to Google cornhole because I have the game in the back of my yard. But according to Wikipedia, cornhole is a sexualist slang vulgarism for anus. The term came into the use in the 1910s in the United States as verb form to cornhole, which came into usage in the 1930s, means to have anal sex. I do not want my children to learn about anal sex in middle school. I have never had anal sex. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't want my kids having anal sex. I want you to start focusing on education and not public health.
Stone, you're on.
Officials. You are supposed to be educating our children.
Ms.
Do
Bell,
not
thank you.
teach them
Ms.
about
Bell, thank
anal
you.
sex.
Thank you, Ms. Bell.
A disaster.
Oh, geez.
She has cornhole in her backyard.
I gotta post a whole video of this segment of the podcast so you can see Fro's facial expressions the entire time that was playing.
She had such a good argument at first. Like she was going into the details. She's like, I did research. I did the Google thing.
Did you?
Yeah.
And then I've never had it. Like, okay, well, that's a little more information that's relevant to the school board that we don't need to know. But, okay, sure.
She had a whole thing planned and then just went off the rails. Like, whatever.
I mean, it sounds like she was dragged away from the podium by the audio. I don't know if there's a video companion to this.
There is on TMZ. You can find the video. Yeah, it's like she came in prepared to go off about one thing, started reading an excerpt from a book. And then when she actually got to the meat of her argument, she was already out of time. Like she wasted time going through.
The excerpt was pretty extreme. I mean, I was chuckling at that. I mean, yeah, that's actually pretty raunchy for a middle school book. I get you. And then she goes into the details. But I mean, yeah, she needed to make her argument actually, not bad.
A Mexican is a Mexican is a Mexican.
Yeah. What was her tagline? We should focus more on education and less about health.
I mean, she's from Texas, and the first thing she mentions too is that she's happy there's no mask mandates. So I think you can imagine the thought process.
She's already
if there is one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in a part of the world where the current health crisis doesn't seem to exist / be acknowledged. There's much more important things going on, like butt fucking.
Take her out back, we boys figured, then hand on the titties. Put it in her coin box, put it in her cornhole, grab a hold of that braid, rub that calico.
It's
like she had her mind blown.
Thing.
It sounds like it could either be a Kenny Chesney song or a Soulja Boy song. From TMZ, a Texas mom used her time at the podium during a school board meeting to rant about sexually explicit content, namely anal sex. The woman, who is being identified online as Cara Bell, Nate,
Got it.
attended the meeting, which was supposed to be about COVID, to bring up her concerns in a book available to middle school students. According to Bell, the book, titled Out of Darkness by Ashley Hope Perez, features a section about anal sex, which she feels is highly inappropriate. The school board reportedly pulled the book from the library shelves following Bell's complaint, with a district spokesperson telling KXAN, a district shall not remove materials from a library for the purpose of denying students access to ideas with which the district disagrees. Continuing, a district may remove materials because they are pervasively vulgar or based solely upon the educational suitability of the books in question. I do have an argument against that. From my own local library back in, I think I was like in the 6th grade, I obtained a copy of a book based on the Aliens movie franchise.
Page 155 or something like that.
What was that?
Page 155, man. I remember you showing it to me.
This kid knows. And you know what? I don't have. It was like, I don't know how many books were in the series. I don't have that book anymore. But when I was in Seattle a few months ago, I found book 2 and I bought it because I always wanted to continue. So, 20 plus years later, I'm finally gonna continue on. And I don't know if it's like technically canon for the alien nerds out there. It's about Newt as an adult. Had Alien 3 not occurred, except in this book, for some reason they couldn't call her Newt, so they called her Billy. But for all intents and purposes, it's an adult Newt. But yeah, it was page 155 of this book, man. A very graphic description of this chick fucking an android. One of the, the Wayland Yutani androids, but she didn't know it was an android. But there's like a solid page and a half of just straight up fucking. Like, if you didn't know how to fuck, this book in this excerpt would have taught you. And I showed that to everybody because I needed people to like me. And what better way to garner respect as a 12-year-old in middle school than to hand or pass around the next best thing to a nudie magazine. For internet porn was still in its infancy at the time.
It was basically like finding a Nat Geo with that, one naked girl.
Nick, you remember our friend Nick Morrow?
Oh, of course.
And he's if he's listening, hello Nick, and I sorry to drop you by full name, but I have to, because I showed him the book, and we sat at those round tables in all our classrooms. So he's sitting directly across from me, and I show him the book and show him the excerpt, and he's reading through it. I'm seeing his eyes going back and forth as because it doesn't start. It's like the book equivalent of Two Girls, One Cup. It starts off innocent, and then it just kicks right into gear, and I could tell exactly which part of the excerpt he was at when things heat up, because his eyes, I will never forget, his eyes all of a sudden bulged right out of his skull.
I can see that.
Oh, man. It doesn't surprise me that this comes out of Texas. It doesn't surprise me that it's a very Karen-looking mother. You should look her up on TMZ because she looks exactly the way you'd expect her to look. And I'm just happy we got this audio goldmine out of it.
I've never had anal sex. I don't want to have anal sex. I don't want my kids having anal sex.
The beeping in the background, is that them like quietly trying to tell her like your time's up? Like,
yes, it would be even better if it was someone attempting to censor her.
That's what I thought.
Like if it was going out on like the public access channel, because it's a school board meeting. If they're trying to censor her, but they're constantly a second too late.
Yeah, like
dang it, I'm horrible with this button.
I'm so fucking horrible with.